Don't believe everything you think. Chapter 11. What do you do next after experiencing peace, joy, love, and fulfillment in the present? Don't think it complicates things. Just feel, and if it feels like home, then follow its path. R. M. Drake. If you have been applying the principles in the book, you have most likely been able to find peace through non-thinking. If not, I highly encourage you to remember that all of our negative feelings come from our thinking. All you have to do is become aware of the fact, which will settle one thinking just like the debris settling in dirty water. Once you see that it is just your thinking and that there is nothing to be afraid of, then you will experience true peace in your life in the present. Once you have been able to experience peace, you might be unsure as to what to do next. At this point in time, you may be experiencing worry, anxiety, and doubt. Many of my clients, including myself, began to wonder if they lost their edge and drive to do anything in the world. Don't worry, this is all normal and part of the process of awakening. You have already learned the hardest part, which is to practice non-thinking and preventing your negative thinking from controlling your life. The reason why we feel worried, anxiety, and doubt after we have experienced peace is because we have just let go of everything we thought we knew in the world. What actually happened was the death of the personal ego. A natural consequence is that once the personal ego is threatened, it will do everything in its power to regain control over your life again. The ego is something that we can't quite get rid of forever, which is why even after you experience peace, there may be feeling of doubt, worry, and anxiety coming up. It is in this moment that the ego thinking will come back up to attempt to reclaim your throne. But worry not, because you have already learned how you can quickly dismantle your ego, your thinking, by remembering that your thinking is the only cause of your negative feelings. The point is to not try to prevent your thinking from ever entering your mind, but to shorten the time that it takes for you to remember that it is just your thinking that's causing negative emotions. It's impossible to prevent thinking from happening because it's so ingrained in us. For example, it's in our human nature that when we suddenly see that we are about to step on a venomous snake on our path, we will freak out. But when you realize that it's just a piece of rope, you see through the illusion, knowing that your thinking is what caused you to become afraid, and you resume your peaceful walk on the beautiful trail. We can't prevent that initial reaction, but we can always remember the truth and return to our natural state of peace, and that's all that matters. Another reason that we may feel anxiety, worry, and doubt once we experience peace is because we were using a colossal amount of energy when we were thinking all of the time. Most people spend the majority of their day in a state of stress thinking, which consumes enormous amount of energy. When we stop thinking, this energy used to think is now freed up, but it hasn't been directed anywhere yet, and what happens is we return to our old patterns of putting that energy back into thinking, because that is how we were conditioned. What we can do in this case is to channel the newfound energy into our goal of inspiration. This is the cure and intervention of preventing this energy from going back into overthinking. For this to work, make sure that you have spent sometimes creating your goal out of inspiration versus desperation, and having it top of mind so that you can channel all of your energy towards it once you experience this phenomenon. If you have only goals of desperation in your mind, then directing energy towards it will only perpetuate the thinking and negative feelings. What tends to help many people in this stage is to also have an activation ritual. An activation ritual is a morning routine that helps them get into a state of non thinking and flow. It helps you build momentum in a positive direction immediately when you wake up so that it's easier to stay in that state of non thinking for the rest of the day. An object in motion will stay in motion. I never understood why spiritual masters and all great leaders have a morning routine until I understood the power of non thinking and momentum. Here is the good news. Now that all of your energy isn't tied up into thinking anymore, you can now use this freed up energy and channel it into creating new goals from inspiration to fuel and propel you into your new life full of peace, joy, and love.